You guys, good morning. Oh my goodness. I feel like I got ready in record time because I wanted to make sure to have time to talk to my girl Courtney before heading to work this morning. So, hi Courtney. So I'm super excited. So today I kind of started this new series. Gotta catch my breath. I'm like, go, go, go. There's Court. Okay, now Courtney just has to join my live. Courtney Rowe. But I started this new series. Here she goes. Whoop. Hopefully it works. Just like this coach spotlight series. And so now, here we go. Yay!
Hello.
How are you? So many people are joining us. Then my friend Courtney Collin is saying hi too. Courtney Sebesta.
Hi.
Hi, Court. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I got ready in record time. It was crazy.
And I thought you were just doing your workout. I was like, this is a quick turnaround.
It's a minute maximizer. You just have to quick get everything done, I tell you.
Yes.
Oh man, well this is so cool. I was just telling people who are watching before you hopped on, just like it's so fun to be able to do these like little coach spotlights to get to know kind of like a little bit about your journey, why you started, and why so many people can do what we do and inspire people and help people and pay it forward. So thank you so much for hopping on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll kind of get started right away because I want to be mindful of your time before I head off to work too. But what do you do for your full-time job? And also kind of what motivated you to become a coach and what you do now? So big question.
Yeah, so I've been a coach for 3.5 years alongside my full-time job. I'm a school social worker for a K-8 school, so busy as heck. Right now I'm like able to sit and enjoy my coffee, but typically that's not my life. So I was really 3.5 years ago. Oh my gosh. I was really just ready for a total solution. Like I was a college athlete. So I was a gymnast from age 2 to 21. So that was like how I defined who I was, right? And that was my health and fitness. That was my entire world. And after that gymnastics career was over, I was super lost. And I'm sure a lot of college athletes who are that intense into their sport can kind of relate to that. I didn't know what I was doing in any aspect of my life after that. I dabbled in other stuff, but I truly lacked the ability to find like lasting results in anything that I was doing. From going from that intense of a athletic career, I never had to worry about what I ate. I just did what my coaches told me to do, and I spent 6 hours in the gym a day pretty much. So it was like I never had to pay attention to that area of my life. So when it was put on me, I was lost. I felt less and less like me over time. I just felt like a stranger in my own body. I just didn't know what I was doing. And I had been invited a couple of times to this opportunity prior to actually saying yes, which I feel like is so normal. People do that all the time because it's all of our like hesitations and limiting beliefs and things like that. But eventually I would hit like what people call their like rock bottom. I was in grad school. I went through a major breakup. I moved across the country from Florida to Minnesota. Was living in my parents' basement. I was overweight. I had a super low self-esteem. And like I said, I was like a total stranger in my own body. Like I didn't even recognize myself when I looked in the mirror. And I lacked that community and that team that I loved so much about being an athlete. And so I was super lonely and I was super broke. I was that girl that checked her bank account like 15 times a day, couldn't afford groceries. Thank God for my parents on that. And I couldn't fill my gas tank. And eventually I just got fed up with that life. Like I was so tired of living that way. And I knew that there had to be something more. And so when this opportunity it perfectly came at the right time where I was like, you know what, let's explore this. So
that's amazing. Like, did you know right away that was it more so like I'm going to be more of a client and do the fitness routine, or did you want to work with the business opportunity as well?
I honestly, it was kind of one of those situations where I'm like, I couldn't afford a challenge pack. I couldn't afford to get involved in this opportunity without learning how to make an income while I was doing it. That's how pinching pennies I was, that I couldn't even work on my own goals unless I was taking it that step further. So I went all in from day one, not really knowing about what it was going to look like or anything like that. But I also, I just knew I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to freaking do it. And so I just did the whole thing. And I was like, if this opens up so many more doors for me to change my financial situation too, like, why would I not take advantage of that? So that's that's kind of where I went. I went all in right away.
Oh, that is so awesome. And I love people like hearing your story, like how you went from, gosh, just almost, it sounds like living paycheck to now it's like, girlfriend, you are a light on social. Like you are so
Thank
inspiring.
you.
And were you like that before this opportunity, or how was your mindset?
Oh my gosh. No, I was not that way at all before this opportunity. I think I was deep down, but it was buried, like very, 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 very deep down, because it was like I think I've always been kind of like quirky and loud and bubbly and whatever, but I just had such a negative mindset. And so I had such a low self-esteem that I didn't feel comfortable in who I was. I didn't feel comfortable like being myself around other people. And so I very much so dulled my edges to just fit what I thought people wanted to see in me. And so I was a hardcore perfectionist. I was very hard on myself. That's like the gymnastic side of me. And yeah, I feel like this has always been who I've been meant to be, but because of this opportunity, finally, I feel like I can love myself the way that I present myself now. So this opportunity has changed me as a person in so many ways. It's crazy.
And I love that you say that, because it's so much more than health and fitness. It's literally the full package of becoming your best self and then being able to share that with other people and inspiring them to do the same, because you're proof that it's working for you. Was there anything that you were kind of nervous about, like prior to saying yes? You mentioned that you were asked perhaps by your coach, our coach Brooke, a couple of times. What were you nervous about? Because I'm sure people can relate to that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. I was full of fear, but I also lived in that headspace too of being very fearful, very timid, very unsure of myself and any move that I made. But I think that having fears and nerves about this opportunity is so normal, because I feel like that's how we are with anything new. New can be scary if you have that mindset, right? And so I was fearful that I would have to maybe look a certain way, act a certain way. Maybe I wouldn't be a good leader at this, or even that I wouldn't even find success at all. And I very quickly realized that, like I kind of explained, that fitting this like mold was never expected of me. This opportunity, you're supposed to be authentically yourself. And the more that I was myself, the more I found my kind of people and the people who could relate to me on a super deep level. I never had to play pretend. And I feel like because of this opportunity, I'm so much more confident and proud of who I am. It totally was the opposite of what I thought. I never have to like fit a mold. I get to be me, and I have my own space with my team that all loves me for me. And I think that there's so much power in the acceptance and like that we feel in our team that I never really knew like how free I would feel. It's just kind of one of those natural byproducts of this opportunity, is that you are encouraged to be yourself. And that's so beautiful about this opportunity. So
I love that so much. And, you know, along with, you said you were an athlete, you said you were in gymnastics prior to this, and, you know, it kind of fell out of in a rut. Then you got more consistent with these health and fitness routines. But, you know, and of course, Beachbody doesn't guarantee any success. That's all dependent on your own diligence, effort, and skill. But I would, you know, you were talking about a couple of years ago how you were living paycheck to paycheck. You were a full-time social worker. How has this opportunity, more on the business side, has changed your life?
oh my gosh, so much. If we're just talking about the business side, like the financial side, I feel like to me that's honestly what I pay the least attention to, because even though, yes, I was super paycheck to paycheck, it's never really been about the money for me, because it's been about me loving myself and me becoming the best version of myself. But the financial side of things, like I said, I was living paycheck to paycheck in my parents' basement. They were buying me groceries, like I was just scrounging for whatever at their house, like, and I could hardly afford, because at that point when I was there, I was full-time in grad school. I was doing an internship, working a part-time job. What else was I doing? I had a lot of stuff happening, and it was like, sure, coaching too, why not? And so that's why when people tell me like they don't have time, that's a bunch of whatever, because I didn't have time. Like, but you make time when your why is that big, when you like your desire to change your life is that big, you figure it out. And so for me, it took me from this position where I was like just struggling. I was on that struggle bus, like riding it hardcore. And I brought it all the way to the point where Beachbody, like income disclaimer, but Beachbody gave me this, like I was able to buy this house on my own about 6 to 8 months after starting this opportunity, because everything I made with this opportunity, I was like working my tail off, like I'm getting out of this basement. And I was able to buy my house, and now I don't live paycheck to paycheck. I get to travel, I get to experience life. And the other day I was just thinking, I was like, I get to like spoil my nieces. I get to buy them Christmas presents. Those were things I couldn't do. And this opportunity just allowed me so much peace, I think, is the biggest way that I can explain how I feel in regards to finances, is that I don't stress about it. And that in itself is so amazing for coming from where I was at.
Oh, weight lifted off your shoulders. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. So what would you say to someone who perhaps has thought about this for a long time, but maybe is too nervous or second guesses themselves? We all had doubt at some point before starting this, and you kind of have to work through that. So what would you say to that person who's just not so sure if this would work for them?
That, first of all, that's normal. We all go through that. But honestly, like, what do you have to lose? Even if you don't blow the lid off of this thing, which you will have all the tools to do that, but if you don't blow the lid off the thing, I always fell back on this, like, well, I'm going to create lifelong friendships. I'm going to get into the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm going to have energy up the wazoo. I'm going to develop confidence and happiness. Like, if nothing else, you get all of that, right? So like, I would do that 1,000 times over without making a dime, because it changes your own life, right? And then, but like with the tools that we get, like there's no reason that you can't if you take action. Like, of course, this business is all about what you do with it. But when you're enrolling on our team, like, you're provided everything that you need. Like, it's crazy how much, like, it's just on you to take action with that, to create like a life of success and finance, like get your finances in order. And then, but I mean, no matter what, you're growing into the best version of yourself. So you can always fall back on that. Like, there's literally nothing to lose. And I always kind of just tell my girls that if your why is big enough, your excuses won't be. Like, you have to find that why within your heart of like, what is going to push you and get you to come like over your excuses, because it's either you have a life full of like opportunity or a life full of like what ifs and regret. And to me, I'm like, I'm gonna take those opportunities anytime I can to like push through my excuses, because I truly believe that like, and I'm sure not everybody has the same faith beliefs as me, but to me, I'm like, God put me here with purpose. He gave me a life and this body to do something with it, to love my life and to impact others along the way. Like, doubts and fears and hesitations, like, that all doesn't come from him, in my opinion. And so for me, it's like, I'm going to live my absolute best life. I'm going to take risks. I'm going to do all of that because I was here to do that, right? Like, I wasn't here to just kind of fall into my excuses and play small. Like, that's just not what we're here for. So.
And that response, that was so good. I like have chills. I was like, oh, it's so good. But like, you had a day one, right? Like, this mindset, this shift, this like positive abundance, all of that, like, it came from just your day one, and just kind of going like, staying consistent with that. Because it sounds like you've evolved. Like, this wasn't an overnight journey. Like, now you're on fire. Like, this is so good. Like, and that, I would imagine, has helped you stay so accountable with your health and fitness and just growing into your best self. Like, I'm just like blown away. It's so good.
Yeah, it honestly, this opportunity has been the best, like, positive accountability, which was good, because I used to kind of be like a yo-yoer. Like, after my college days were over, I didn't really have, like, I would dabble in something and then I'd quit on myself, which, side note, that has a lot to do with your own self-esteem, I think, personally, because of living that way for so long. It was a direct reflection of what I thought that I was worth. So I quit on myself because I didn't care about me and my success. Like, I gave up on things over and over and over again. But being a coach gives you that positive accountability, because I'd always been the person that would give up on myself, but I would always show up for everybody else. Like, I was I always cared about the people that relied on me, and I was always consistent. So by being a coach, I grew this team of people, first of all, that loved me and accepted me and allowed me to grow into the best version of myself, but gave me that positive pressure to show up for my own goals every single day. And I think that that's a huge piece of why I'm here 3.5 years later and I've never strayed away, is because I have a team and I have girls that rely on me to show up and love on them every single day. And therefore, that all starts with me showing up for myself too.
Oh, that's so good. And you're just an example, because it's like you're kind of showing what's possible Do you have like a recommendation? We love personal development, whether it's a podcast or a book or something that maybe someone is not used to, like personal, they're maybe not on a growth journey, but they're interested in going on one. What would you recommend? Like, what would you recommend starting with?
My first personal development book that I've gone back, oh my gosh, it's like the pages are all like bunny eared or whatever you call it when you like fold them all and it's highlighted and notes written in the corners of You Are a Badass. It's a very simple read, but that one just like lit my soul on fire. And all of a sudden I was like, I am a badass. Okay. And I think that was like probably the most impactful, probably because it was my first personal development book, but also because it was that confidence booster of like, girlfriend, like knock off the excuses. You're worth more than that. And it was kind of that like tough love that I needed. And I'm a tough love person. If you don't like cursing and if you don't like tough love, like that might not be your thing. But for me, it was exactly what I needed to hear when I started this journey. Just to give me that little kick in the rear, you know?
Oh, so good. Oh my gosh, Court, I could talk to you all morning, but this will be the final. Oh, that's so nice. Okay. I was just looking at the comments there, but this is a hard question, I feel like, because there's so many things, but if you could just put it, in a nice little bow here, how has coaching changed your life? Like so much, but like, if you just want to, I'll let you take the last word there.
Yeah, I feel like I could talk for hours about that because I'm not the same person that I was. The people that knew me a few, like 3.5 or more years later don't even recognize who I am today. And that's a really good thing. Like, that's probably the greatest compliment. I'm super positive. I'm so much more, like I told you, like that sense of feeling at peace. Like, I'm not affected by little things because life is so good. Like, life is good. And I feel like I just have this different mindset. So much more confident. So much like a higher self-esteem, and I like truly love who I am, which is something I'd never felt my entire life. I always felt like I needed to dim my light or dull my edges to try to like fit this, to try to fit in with the popular girls or whatever, and now it's like, screw all that. Like, I'm me, and that's great. And I have a purpose. And I think that this, even more than that, like this platform has given my journey, my story, my pain that I had been through, and that's a whole nother call, for the like in my life, it's been able to give me a way to create that into like a survival guide for the next girl in line. And I jump out of bed every morning. Like, I love life, and I never loved life like this. And yeah, I think that, I don't know, I could go on forever. Like, I feel like I'm a different human in the most amazing way because of this opportunity.
Both like the business, the community, the accountability, the health and fitness, and then just like being able to, our job essentially as coaches is to work on becoming our best selves every day. So I love that you say you just jump out of bed with enthusiasm, because it's like you're more in alignment with your purpose, your calling, you're making an impact. And I'm sure you've received so many messages. That's the bigger thing. Like, I don't know if anything stands out where people have commented to you like, Courtney, because you showed up, I showed up. I would imagine that's like so impactful.
That's why I do what I do, is honestly to get those messages that I was able to reach somebody in the darkness, like where I used to be, and was able to give them that light to pull them out of it. And being able to even play a small part. Of course, it's always on them to take action and do all the things, but to be able to like basically like reach a hand out and help pull somebody out, like, that's 100% why I show up, because I know what that feels like to be there and need that handout. And yeah, and a whole lot of personal development brought me to where I am today. Like, I can't say that enough. Like, of course, it's the team, it's the accountability, it's all of the things. But I think more than like, I'd never read a personal development book in my entire life, but now it's like, I don't go a day without some sort of personal development, because if you don't work on what's going on between your ears, nothing else is going to change in your life. I feel like that's the most vital piece of what we do.
And then the last bonus question, like when Brooke asked you, like maybe a couple times, when you said yes, like, was it just because you were sick and tired of being sick and tired? Like, was that kind of the light bulb moment of why you decided to go all in with this?
I think it was a combination. I think I was just so sick and tired of feeling that way that I was willing to try. And I think that, deep down, I knew that I had more purpose than what I was living. I knew that I wasn't tapping into my full potential even close. And so this was an opportunity for me to not only help myself, but to have an impact on others, which I feel like true success if it ends with you, that's not even success. Like, you need to be able to take your success, your survival guide, your what, you know, how you've come out of it, and then go share that and help the next person in line. And so I think seeing that this opportunity could provide that, plus all the other things that I knew that I needed in my life, it was a no-brainer to at least be open to seeing what this was all about, to see if it was for me. And once I did that, like, game over. Let's go.
Oh, Courtney, this was so fun. Thank you so much. We need to have another like call 2.0 or something like that.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And you just heard it from Courtney, like her story. It's like it wasn't a yes right away, but because you said yes, you've been able to completely change your mindset, your life. And so what do you have to lose? You said that. Like, what do you have to lose?
Literally nothing, but like an entire life to gain. So
yes. Oh, Courtney, thank you so much, girl. And because of coaching, that's how I know you, right?
Yes. We
All
don't even know each other. That's so crazy.
Amazing. Well, have a good day, girl, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.